Hey guys, and welcome to day 4 of the 12 Days of Christmas in July at Polly's Paper Studio. I'm Ginny, and I have got an envelope mini as promised, using the envelopes that we had yesterday in our How to Dress Up boxed card section. And I've got the graphic 45 Twas the Night Before Christmas paper collection. This is the 8x8 paper pad. I also have the 6x6 papers, the chipboard, and the tags and pockets. So I'm using this collection to make this amazing little retro inspired book. There is also ribbon trims from Really Reasonable Ribbon and some flowers, sequins, and twine. This has lots of fun places to add pictures and journaling, and also pockets to add additional pictures, so you can really fill this little mini up with lots of fun holiday memories. So let's make this together. Okay, so this is the quickest overview. I've got the card set that I started with yesterday, and I have used the envelopes that came with it. They were pretty small. They're not even quite an A2 size, but they did work out perfectly for this. What you want to do is score alongside the original fold line, and I'm using the scoreboard, and I have chosen to put in a 1/4 of an inch. I think that's really the least that you want to add, because when you start putting in the layers, it's going to add a lot of bulk, and then your book will not close properly because there will be too much material in between the score. So take your 1/4 inch score and then crease it and reinforce that with your bone folder so that you get a nice crisp crease. Then add just a bit of double-sided adhesive or wet glue. I'm putting mine just a little above that score because I don't want it to show once the book is assembled. So take off the adhesive backing, and I have already attached 2 here. So basically what you're going to do is line it up and stick it down. I have found it helps greatly if you have a thing that you know to be a straight edge. This is like thick mat board, and I'm just going to use it to scoot that edge up right along there so that I know I'm getting it straight across, and then you will see when you fold it up that it looks even and level. So add that, and then you've got the base for the book, and then you can start to decorate it. So basically the trickiest part is keeping the pages in the right order as you're assembling your pieces. So if it helps you write down what page you're on, and you're going to cover it anyway, so it doesn't matter if you put numbers in there. And also you probably want to consider not doing the cover first, because if you're going to add dimensional items like I am, it'll be lumpy and it will be a little bit hard to put your pieces on. So I've got it set up now that this will be my cover, and this will be the first page. This is a green cardstock to border and also to keep the paper patterns separate. And I think that it matches this collection really well. The next pattern is going to be the holly. I realize that this text is going to be on its side, but I don't think that it matters because it's a very subtle word pattern. And then I'm using the pockets in that page to be the postcards to be a pocket. This particular envelope size was just a little bit less than that, so I clipped off the sides, and it's fine because you're still going to have the border of the cardstock underneath, so it's going to look like you have a nice clean border all the way around. And I have only added adhesive to the bottom and sides of this so I can tuck this in, and that's going to be the first pocket page when you open the cover. Now we want to complete the inside cover, which will be the left hand side when you open it. And I'm going to build the page separately because I'm adding a tip in, and that will have to be added before it can be attached to the book. So this is the same collection. It's the Twas the Night Before Christmas, and I'm using the 6x6 paper pad for this because I liked the smaller scale. It's the same pattern, but it read nicer for being a smaller piece. So I'm just gonna continue to use that green matting as I go along, and now I'm gonna build the tip in. So I've got this portion that came off of one of the pockets and tags die cuts from the die cut sheet, and I'm going to add it here just up to the layer of where the pattern starts. This will be a nice, like a little tab to pull the tip in. So before I add that, I want to add, this is the remainder of the pattern from the 6x6 pad, and I'm just going to line the back of the tip in so that everything has a nice finished look. And you can see that I've added some adhesive to the flap. I just add like 1/4 of an inch of additional cardstock and then score it so that it will have a clean folded edge. And also important to remember not to get your adhesive too far over because it could possibly show. And it may not be as obvious with lighter colors, but it is definitely going to show when you put it on darker. So just go ahead and line that up with the page and then peel the adhesive and stick that down. So that is going to sandwich the flap for your tip in between the page and the book. So you can add that now to the envelope, and the adhesive on here is going to seal up that pocket. So not to be concerned that it could come open, and line that up. I was going to cheat and get a different envelope size once I saw how small they were, but I know that one of you viewers will say, hey, that's not the right size. So now here comes that postcard with the tab. The tabs are really nice. They're a pattern paper on the back, which is just fortunate because that would be a difficult angle to cut around, but it's already finished. See, that looks cute. So now we've got the first page or the inside cover, and then the first page that would be a pocket. The next 2 pages are going to basically be a repeat of what we have done for the last 2. So you've got a vertical pocket, and I'm going to add that one to the center so that I can balance the red patterns along the outside. This has another postcard image and more of the tag and pocket tags. I did not add ribbon trim to these yet because I want to see how the book looks when it's closed, so that I make sure not to overfill it and cause it not to close properly. You will measure your pattern papers and cardstock according to the envelopes that you wind up with. And some, I have made my own envelopes before. That works great. But you do want to leave like a small border around so that you can cut all the pieces at the same time. As I know, this piece is going to be the same as that piece, is going to be the same as the next piece, and that made it really fast. And that's the thing with mini albums, sometimes it just takes a really long time to do them if all the measurements are different, but these are all the same. So this is another flap, but it opens the other way, and it has the same tab from the tag and pocket die cut. And now you can see that it is very important to keep all your pages lined up, because now I'm going to put the back on, and you wouldn't want the back to be inside the book or on the cover. So this is the cover, this is the back, and number those if it helps. Make sure to cover the back, because that just gives it a finished look and makes it more sturdy. All right, so that is that. I want to assemble the cover before I add it to the book, because I want to sandwich some ribbon trim so that I will be able to close the book. So I'm going to assemble the whole front cover and then add it. So I've got a couple of companion patterns here. This one is going to be an inset. So I have the holly with the green cardstock in the back. And then I have a companion piece of the border strip, and that will just go at the bottom right here. I have also included a cute little stamp. This was cut out from a portion of the border strip that was stamped all the way across, and I'm going to add that right here. And I've put on some double-sided foam adhesive. I'm going to add this clip, so I have left a portion of that tape so that it will sit evenly. I don't want there to be a big lump underneath. So that will be on the inset. So for the cover itself, I've got the cardstock and then the plaid. Should we call this the 12 Days of Plaid instead of the 12 Days of Christmas? Because I put plaid on everything. If anyone knows of a 12-step plaid program, you can let me know or sign me up, because I definitely need that. This is going to be the base. This is going to be the first raised section. And this is just going to help build the dimension up. I've got some other embellishments, but I think that they will fit better if I have a larger raised section instead of just raising the embellishments. So here is going to be the first raised level. Try and get that on as straight as possible. And then I want to include this little die cut doily. I'm just going to add some hot glue and tuck that in a little bit underneath of that stamp so that it looks nice and layered. Here is the chipboard from the chipboard set. I have filed the edge of it to get rid of the little picky parts, with just a little file. I stickled it a little. It's very subtle. You can't really see it too much on camera. And then I've added a couple of sequins. Here's a metal eyelet. It already had a hole, so I just used that and added a little bit of gold twine. Even though this is thick, I'm still putting it up on the dimensional foam so that I can continue to build all those layers. So that sits on top of the doily. And then the flower arrangement is very simple this time. It's just one white magnolia with sometimes the Graphic 45 red is a little bit orangey or pinky. So if you find a red flower that's not a true red, then that will match these collections a little better. Got some velvet leaves and a small twine bow of ivory burlap. So that's just gonna go right here. This is just going to be adhered with some glue, and I'm gonna decide that I want to kind of round that corner and stick that down. So here is the front cover, and I want to put it on, but first I want to include a little bit of this green checked ribbon. That way I'll be able to close it up and tie it. I really think a very generous amount of ribbon is good because you never know where your bow direction is going to come from, and I don't like to leave tails that are too short. So I've just cut that at an angle so it won't fray, and I'm gonna put down some double-sided adhesive tape just to keep that sandwiched in there. And let's see, this is in the middle. Then I can add to this and tie it. This was an 8x8 paper pad, and I think you could get like 1,100 little mini albums out of it if you were using the right size envelope and being careful to utilize the scraps as you go along. So if you had like a paper pad and one of the chipboard sheets and the die cuts, you could just make a big old pile of handmade gifts, and you could just use the same paper pad for that. So it's very practical. Okay, so now we'll close it up and tie it. And our little envelope mini is all done. If you enjoyed this project, give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, and if you're not already, I would love for you to subscribe. I will leave links in the description below for Graphic 45. Although this is not a new collection, maybe you have it in your stash already, or you can pick up the newer holiday collection from Graphic 45 and then go ahead and substitute that. And then links for really reasonable ribbon, as well as our social media sites. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram, and our blog and Etsy shop. So as always, I wish you a happy and productive day, and I thank you so much for watching. Bye.